Assalamu alaikum, guys. This is such a weird post for me to make, but I was like, let me make it whilst I get my package ready for a return because it didn't meet my standards. Essentially, what I wanted to kind of discuss in today's video is it's the fact that I think Muslims are going backwards, and I've seen a pattern actually when I've made my videos where I respond to people who preach things that are so clearly against our deen. I've noticed a pattern in the comments with people who tend to disagree with me and tend to disagree and take the left-leaning view. Like, they tend to be left-leaning in their political ideologies. I don't know, it kind of got me thinking, and it's kind of sad, to be fair. You know, as we progress in a society and as we become more modern, so are our practices, and a lot of people are marinating in their ignorance. And like, what do I mean by marinating in your ignorance? I mean that you see something or you complain about not knowing something and you stay in the position you're in. You don't make the effort to learn, or you'll complain that you don't know Arabic, you don't know Fusha, you don't know which scholars to take from, but have you put in the effort? And my platform is here and dedicated to help sisters and brothers to how I can in relation to topics like this. And actually recently I had a sister, she messaged me in regards to struggling with research in her Islamic studies and progressing and gaining a peace of mind. Now, I think there are two ends of the extreme when it comes to Muslims, right? This Muslim generation we're in now. It is one that you'll have this end of the extreme that's so liberal that they've come to accept that no hijab is okay and that everyone should be so accepting to the point that it pushes the boundaries Islam has put in place. And then there's another end of the extreme of these so-called righteous Muslims that come to these people who are clearly misguided or laymen, and they will give dawah in the rudest way possible because they lack the emotional intelligence to be able to give nasiha and dawah properly. And that can take precedence over the dawah, which can make it useless. So essentially, this horrible manner you're giving it in can just refute and take away the message that you're trying to get across to this person, and it can be harmful. And some ulama, they consider this haram because there are conditions to dawah. So there's obviously two ends of ignorance here, and we need to find moderation. And this can be very hard to find in today's generation, and also because we're so easily influenced by the media and by social media, and it can be hard to accept some things sometimes. It can be hard to swallow a few truths. Yeah, I've kind of just seen this pattern now. When sisters started taking off their hijab, you saw a pattern of more sisters do that. That's because they're under this influence of this TikTok hijabi, but that's not Islam. And I think when you reach a point where you begin idolizing, because that's essentially what you're doing, if you can get so influenced by these people that you start imitating their actions, subconsciously and consciously, you are idolizing them. And I do want to make a video actually about how we are creatures that are meant to idolize things. And in our case, it would be we idolize Allah. He's our God. You'll see these people who go to concerts, they worship the creator of that music. So I kind of do want to make a video on how we are psychologically driven to worship things, and this is where we have to choose wisely and make the decisions for ourselves on who we choose and how we choose to worship, because this will affect us in this life and in the afterlife. I kind of just wanted to get that off my chest. I'm not here to attack any person who may be struggling with the deen and may be struggling to attain basic Islamic knowledge, or even to try and extend it, because it can be hard. Certainly it was hard for me when I first started. I'm not going to lie, in the first 2 years I just had myself, and so the first year was very hard, and I can understand why it can be hard, which is why I want to dedicate a lot of my content to these things and bring attention and awareness to things that I think a lot of this Muslim generation is lacking. Islamic intellect, they're lacking resources, and also they're lacking motivation. to kickstart their journey into learning. So I don't think that motivation alone is sufficient. I think in the beginning it's very good, but as you begin to learn, the more you will realize that Islam is not motivation to say, it's actually discipline. And Islam builds you and molds you into this character, which makes you less dependent on what's around you and more dependent on the Creator. And that's what I want all of us to actually attain, this level of spirituality where we kind of, we're not naive to the dunya. It's so hard to breathe in this niqab. This is a very weird video to make. I thought it was just a good idea to talk about it briefly because it was on my mind for some time. As I follow up on the comments that I receive, I think about it more and more, and I think it's important to address situations of such. See you next time, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.